Hey y'all, Shield 273 here. So, kind of wanted to show off a new light I just picked up the other day. Um, Obviously, I'm not doing a whole lot of videos here, but after the first cloud defense light I did, I actually managed to pick up a few subscribers. I think I'm at a whopping 9, so it's probably going to be a minute before Google sends me that nifty little play button. But figured, what the hell? Let's talk about some new offerings. So just the other day, Cloud Defense announced that they were going to be releasing a new version of the MCH. This one being the Duty version is what they've decided to name it. If we compare it to the original MCH, you can tell as far as size goes, they're fairly close. Duty looks like it's probably half an inch taller or so, give or take a bit, and obviously the head's a little bit more robust on it. We'll kind of talk about the other two in comparison here in a minute. For right now, let's just focus on my first impressions of the Duty. Now, to be clear, this isn't really a review. I've only had the light for about 2 days now. Only had a chance to kind of play with it a little bit around the house. It hasn't been carried. It certainly hasn't been carried on duty. Some of the announced specs they put with it is they're announcing it's got 1800 lumens, 50,000 candela. And this one, just like sort of the second generation of the original MCH they just released here a few months back, is also going to be rated for dual fuel. So you'll be able to use it with an 18650 battery or two CR123s. It's also got 5 different program modes on it. Right now I have it set to high only. However, you can program it to, like I said, 5 different modes, and from there it's just sort of different versions of high, medium, low. There's a very low. And you can sort of organize which setting you want on first and how to cycle through them. If you're going to use a light as an admin light, that'd be very beneficial. One of the other more interesting things they did with this one is if you look at the bezel, you notice it's a little bit of a different color. And that's because the bezel is actually made out of S7 tool steel. And it's definitely got some increased weight to it because of that. This one comes in at 6.67 ounces with the battery. One of the other really cool things they did with it is the lens itself is also field serviceable. So should you actually crack the lens, and in one of Cloud Defense's videos, they were intentionally using it as a hammer, and they had to beat it like it owed it money for them to finally break it. But if you do find yourself in that position, you should be able to, according to them, change out this lens right in the field. As far as the packaging itself goes, it still comes with an 18650 battery, still comes with a Cloud Defensive Night Core charger. They are still using these ND protectors right up here just to help protect the button to make sure you don't accidentally turn it on while it's sitting in your pocket. And it still does come with 3 of those. Now, with this version, one of the big things that came up when it came to the first one is that it promised it was supposed to come with this deep carry clip. There's apparently some issues. I'm not sure whether it was design issues, manufacturing issues, or what it was. But on the original one, it came with a low pocket clip. Now, I don't have any problem with the low pocket clip. In fact, I really actually enjoy these. But it is kind of nice to see that they did finally come out with their deep carry clip. And if you look at this thing, and I'm guessing it's probably made out of some kind of spring steel, it's robust. This thing is not going anywhere. I had a hard time fathoming how you could actually bend or break it, although, granted, I'm sure somebody will manage to. But, I mean, you can tell they made this thing to where it's designed to not go anywhere. So, kudos to them for that. If you do have one of the original ones, you can buy these clips now from their website. I believe they're supposed to make it to where if you want one for one of the original ones, I believe you're supposed to be able to get it for free. All you have to do is pay for shipping and handling, but don't quote me on that. So, if you bought the original one, should you upgrade? I guess that's really kind of a decision for you. I haven't used this one for duty, but I do carry it on my off days, and it's held up quite well. I've dropped it a couple of times, and so there's a couple little dings there, and just some mild scratches, but quite frankly, I mean, I have to pull those right up to the camera for you to be able to see them. Otherwise, this thing looks relatively brand new still. Again, I didn't carry it on duty, and I don't beat my gear up or anything, but it did get carried. It was in my pocket. It got used a few times when, I'd go out and take walks around the neighborhood. It'd get used every time we lose power around the house. So it's been used here and there. But it just sitting around in my pocket, jingling around with everything else in there. There's no real scratches, marks, or anything like that. Like I said, these ones up here from when I actually dropped it on concrete getting out of my car one day. So it's done quite well. Now, these ones I advertised at with the HC head that I have on here at 1100 lumens and 71,000 candela. This one is, as I said, just a little bit lower on the candela, but the way they're advertising this as far as a duty light goes is it's supposed to have just a really robust hot spot with plenty of spill going around it. It's supposed to light up a room quite well. I may carry it a few days on duty and just kind of see how it does. Like I said, the one thing I really do love about this is it really does have some nice weight and heft to it. When you're working in a law enforcement capacity, or if you're working as a soldier in the military, there's always been that saying, ounces equal pounds. And yeah, even as a cop, we're carrying 30 to 40 pounds worth of stuff on us. And so generally you're trying to figure out ways you can shave off ounces here and there. But I got to tell you, even with this thing having that heft, it feels really nice. The best way I can think of comparing it is, if you're like me and you're a Glock guy, I've got tons and tons of Glocks. It's almost what I exclusively shoot these days, is what I carry on duty. And you pick it up, and they're extremely functional. With that being said, there's just a whole different feeling when you pick up a steel frame 1911. It's heavier, it's more robust, but just that weight to it just makes it feel like there's really some quality to it. So, a couple of things as far as cloud defense goes when it comes to these models. I really do have to appreciate how well they've done in terms of their customer service. I know with these original ones, there was some talk, especially on some of the forums, that there's been some people who've had some issues with the tail caps. Sometimes it'd be some flickering issues. Sometimes it was issues where it didn't look like they were coming to full power. Now, according to the owner of Cloud Defensive, what he stated is that given the number that were actually sold, it was only about 2% or so that they had these tail cap issues with. You don't hear them quite as frequently. It sounds like they've sort of moved past that, and they've kind of made some adjustments here and there, and made some pivots where they needed to in order to be able to put out tail caps that were just a little bit more robust. But they did have those issues. They also did a really great job of listening to their customers. When these ones came out, you really didn't get any real solid choices in terms of what you were going to get. You could either get the EDC version, or you could get the high to candela version, and you could pretty much choose between it being essentially a single output or a dual output. Single output, it was just going to come out at high. Dual output, it would come out at a low and a high. So you had sort of the option of being able to use it as an admin light. These ones now, like I said, you get 5 different program features. And those program features, you can almost adjust it to whatever you want. Whether you want to start off high, you want to start off low, you want to cycle through. They've done a really great job in terms of listening to some of their customers. Even the dual fuel version. These ones, when they came out, when you would open them up, right in the middle of the body before you'd even put in the first battery, there was a really big orange piece of paper in there reminding you that the only thing you can use in this is an 18650 battery. Now, for me, that wasn't really a big deal. I've got plenty of 18650 batteries floating around. I don't mind keeping some CR123s for some of my flashlights. I've got a bunch of those floating around too, but having rechargeable batteries for me was just perfectly fine. But some of their customers have mentioned that they like that idea, and so with these new ones that are coming out, that's now come to fruition. It seems like they've also fixed some of their issues with ordering. When these original ones came out, I'd actually gotten really lucky. I happened to be in a class that day, and just as soon as the drop time hit, it was right when we were on a break. I was able to get right to the website. I ordered two, and I literally had them in my hand in about, I'd say, a week or so. I know they were getting pretty overrun with orders. Apparently, my experience in that was a bit unique in the sense that some other people apparently had to wait, from what I understand, sometimes upwards of a couple of months to finally get their hands on theirs. They were just that far back as far as their ordering goes and what they actually had on hand. Again, that seems like it got resolved. This one, I ordered at the same time. As soon as the drop date hit, it wasn't even at the exact time. I probably waited a half an hour or so and then finally got around to putting in my order. And I literally had it in my hand in 2-3 days, if I'm not mistaken. It took no time whatsoever to get it. So, really, guys, that's all I've got about to say about the new Duty version. It seems like Cloud Defense actually did really well on this. I think about the only real issues I've had in terms of Cloud Defensive as a company goes is it seems like they've had a few different little missteps here in terms of some of their ordering stuff. But honestly, it seems like all of that's gotten resolved. At this point, I'm going to see about taking this thing on duty. I actually start nights here in about a week or so. And so I'll probably bring it with me out a few nights and run it through its paces and see how it does. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, you know where to leave them. And y'all have a great week.